Okay, here I am. I'm Suzanne Tinkermeyer's right for Pathos, called No Longer Quivering. Had to do with the quiverful evangelical movement, but that's not what I'm talking about today. I am talking about willful stupidity. Some of the most willful stupidity I've got to witness in a long while. I did today when I saw that someone had done a post, had done a video, now the post about myself and others. Well, all I can say about what was said about me, you go, girl. You do what you want. You say what you want about me because I don't care. Okay. I do not care. And the reason I say that, and I pointed this out to someone earlier who shipped me your video yet again, is that for some years when I was writing for Pathos during those 10 long years, I was getting death threats. Not small ones, large ones, threats from the independent fundamentalist Baptist people, but the new branch of them, the new independent fundamentalist Baptists. They kept threatening to show up here and shave my head before cutting my throat. And a number of just crazy, vile things. Hey, bossy. Yeah, I popped up. Good, I'm glad because I was afraid it's Holy Week here, so we're full of chock-a-block of people, and I was so long story short, hey, say I knocked over the Baltimore Bridge the other day. If that makes you happy, say I swam underwater to the Key Bridge and gnawed on the supports. Okay. Say that I was the one that kidnapped the Lindbergh baby. Okay, that's good too. Say that I was the one that derails trains. Whatever floats your boat. Go for it. Go for it. The more crazy, the better. So you guys that are saying and doing this stuff that everybody's trying to direct me to, you're pikers, you're beginners. You can't even begin to hope to compare to all of the weird CULT people. No, I'm not going to say that. The fucking cult people. So if you cannot match the same energy that the fucking cult people did, then guess what? I'm paying you no mind at all. But what I want to talk about today was historical definitions. One of the things that was super crazy out of this person's screed against me was they accused sweet Renelle Smith of being a Nazi. See, you know, I would love to know how this person is defining that word because it is not even remotely appropriate. It's just the same kind of hysterical hyperbole that these people engage in all the time. Um, and I don't care. I think Cheshire, Mania, Alice, the whole bunch have lost their damn minds. Hey, autistic, they're making me say the F word today because they're attacking Renelle. They're calling Renelle a Nazi, like they know what a Nazi is. Nazi actually stands for National Socialism, and it came about in the 1930s and 40s in Germany. It came to be under, you finally caught me live? Okay, you may not like what I'm ranting about today. So the National Socialist Party started, and Nazi was the abbreviation for it. Hitler started it. It was influential. We've all seen the swastikas. We've all heard the stories and seen the pictures of the camps where the Jews, the gypsies, homosexuals, everyone else was exterminated. That is not Renelle Smith. My suggestion is you might want to go to at least Wikipedia and read what they have to say about it. Stuff like Nazism is a form of fascism with disdain for liberal democracy, freedom, and the parliamentary system. It incorporates a dictatorship, fervent anti Semitism, anti communism, anti stavism, scientific racism, white supremacy, all of that, social Darwinism and eugenics. Of all the things, Bossy, there was somebody last night that goes by the name of Kathy Key that accused Renelle of being a Nazi. So that's why I'm going over what a Nazi actually is, because this woman is something of a dullard in the extreme if she thinks that Renelle is a Nazi. Renelle is one of the nicest people you could ever imagine. Hey, airwaves and anybody else I might have missed. No, bossy, that was the accusation. I'm not pissed off about what they said. I could care less about that. That's why I was saying, accuse me of taking down the Baltimore Bridge, kidnapping the Lindbergh baby, and everything in between. But leave Renelle alone. And if you're going to attack Renelle, attack her for being too nice, because sometimes she is. She's nicer than me in a lot of ways, and I admire that in her, but I'm not that way. These younger humans don't know accurate definition, have never had a history class. Iris, that's exactly right. They never have. So, in other words, they got nothing on her. So they reach and call her Nazi. That's exactly. And the thing is, I don't know, I haven't talked to Renelle, but I've heard that she was really hurt by this, that this was just one of those things. The other day I made the mistake apologizing to someone because it was heavy on my conscience to do so. And since then, it stirred up Alice and pals. And for that, I'm truly sorry. That was not my intention. My intention was to try and put some of this crap to rest. Um, I was at my cousin's shower in Gettysburg at some country club. You look like a 1933 Munich. Almost no one knew what I was talking about. Hey, home perm. So yeah, so that's kind of the kind of stuff. I guess because I'm old now, that I know and remember all this stuff. I remember in the 70s when I was studying this crap in history class and thinking, well, this is a new one. This is crazy. This is crazy. So that's what's going on. In PA, yeah, you never know what you'll find. I like PA because it's so different. One of the things that I used to get a kick out of was traveling up to upstate New York through Pennsylvania and seeing the Statue of Liberty, the little mini Statue of Liberty, I think on the Susquehanna. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I seem to have memories of that. All those trips I made up to Toronto Airport Christian Fellowship back in the day. So, excuse me, I'm extremely snotty today. I'm having really bad allergies. I had to run out and buy allergy pills that I don't like taking because it rained here and it didn't rain enough to kill everything, but it rained enough to stir everything up and make it miserable. Harrisburg. Yes, Harrisburg, PA is an interesting place too. All those bridges going over all those rivers and things. I've been to conferences in Harrisburg many times. If you come to PA, visit me in Philadelphia. Oh, Perm, I would do that in a heartbeat. I haven't been to Philly in years. Yeah, that's what is so bizarre about some of this stuff when you run up on some of this stuff and you're like, what? Because it kind of the Nazis they kind of piss me off. I'm going to be honest about that because they took over the swastika and used it as their emblem. It actually is ancient. It goes back to Native American tribes and all kinds of different tribalistic tendencies. And it means positive things. It never was meant to be harmful. And when you not crochet, when you embroider and do crewel, it was called the fill foot. It was a way that fill it in areas that you wanted to decorate with that emblem. And they took it and ruined it for all time and eternity. Well, lived along the Susquehanna River, just south of the where the two branches merge. Yep, that was exactly right. And so poor Renelle, I really feel bad for her. She's a person of color from South Africa. And for a while here, we had somebody we were letting live in our guest house here that was from South Africa who was white. So I've heard both perspectives on it now and what it was like to be in South Africa and the violence, the tension, and everything else that has happened there in recent years. And it's just not good for anybody. And when you start picking on people who have lived through some serious, and I mean serious trauma, that kind of trauma, you really expose what kind of heartless and stupid human being you are. So that's all that's happening today. Poor Renelle's being attacked by people that don't have a clue what a Nazi actually is. And that kind of makes me laugh if I wasn't so stoned on cold medicine. So, I mean, allergy pills. So that's all that's going on here. I'm trying to put in all my insurance things because we're pretty far out of pocket this year and last year because of my husband's cancer, which I think they got, and he's healing now and things are settling down. So that's why I started feeling obligated to apologize. And it just kept, oh gosh, waiting for you to turn to the dentist office. Oh, that's not good. I don't like it. I don't like the dentist office. That's another place that I just don't like. I don't like going there. They have one or two that I use, and the rest, so I'm dealing with mast cell confloptions right now, and it is what it is. So don't waste your breath apologizing to people who aren't worthy of it, who aren't worth it, because oh, you go, because this was just a silly little live stream. Don't waste your breath on people that aren't worth it. And I wouldn't say anything about this, but it is Renelle. And I adore Renelle. She's a great human being. I've talked to her on the phone a few times. She's somebody that I've always admired because I know what she came out of. I know something of it. And I can't imagine. I just cannot imagine from everything I've heard about South Africa. And there are a lot of people are fleeing from there to Costa Rica because I've met a number of them now. Many of them are trying to get visas to go to the US, and it is kind of a crapshoot, they're telling me. And they know better than to try to sneak into the country illegally because if they get caught, it's going to be a big, big, big thing. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in that at all, there are several excellent YouTube channels that have been covering the violence in South Africa, the stuff that the US news channels aren't telling anybody. That's one of the things that bugs me the most. I don't understand people have to be so ignorant towards people who create channels. Send, I don't understand people have to be so ignorant towards people who create channels. Send her positive energy and prayers from me. Iris, she's wonderful. So, yes, most definitely. And Bossy, yeah, he's a lot better. The incision held this time after multiple surgeries, multiple things they did to him. They had to put in some kind of pump with a sponge to drain all the fluids for like a week and a half, and then he had to keep going back and forth. He kept having to go back and forth to the operating room to be have all that cleaned out. But he seems to be on the mend now. He's in the pool right now. He swims. He's happy because he can get back in the water because everything's healed up. I love Renelle. She's a bright light in my world. Autistic, you said a mouthful there. She is a bright light. And when she says stuff, you know that she's coming from a good place within her heart. She's calling out some of the toxic BS that goes on in this world. And I cannot hate her for that. Even when I don't necessarily agree with her on everything. And there are some times that I'll look at something she says and I'm not sure about that. But I don't run around confronting everybody that I think is wrong. Most of the time, I'm very content to sit here and let everybody do their own thing. Thanks, Iris. He is doing so much better. I finally stopped shaking. I'm almost on top of the laundry. Well, actually, I am on top of the laundry 'cause I got 3 loads I got to fold, and the dishes and everything else. And I made stuff for a thing he went to the other night. We're making food for a community thanks community Easter thing. And I'm not going to deal with any of these people any longer. I'm not going to waste my energy talking about them. The only reason I started talking about this at all is Renelle was very hurt by their words. They're really silly words. And I'm going to concentrate. And I guess I recommend you do the same. I'm going to concentrate on the meaning of this weekend, on the meaning of Easter and the sacrifices that were made. Because I'm always moved by Easter, even when I'm not as going to church quite as much. There's something in the sacred mystery of it that it just shreds me emotionally. When like I wasn't already shredded last night. I rewatched the Barbie movie last night. In that last sequence where Barbie and Ruth Handler are talking and they're holding hands, and Barbie is seeing all those images of mothers and children together. That just makes me cry every single time I've seen it. So that's the other thing I wanna say, and don't let these people make your heart so hard at all. Being Holy Week, all we can do is pray for these humans. Iris, that's exactly right. That is it. That's all we can do. We can pray for them. We can try to understand them. We can release them to God and say, "Okay, God, you're doing something there. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna get in the way with it. I'm not gonna attack it. I'm not gonna do anything." And, about zone of interest, I'm not going to lie. I have a hard time understanding why everyone thinks it's amazing. I asked my dad to watch it and explain it to me, to take a look at that. I haven't done that yet. Um, it's only when my husband's been sick of cancer, we're actually sitting down and watching things on HBO Max. And we finally watched all the White Lotus, and both of us loved the White Lotus because it illustrates a super important thing that we've seen here again and again and again and again is that billionaires and millionaires don't have it all figured out. They have problems just like us, and that's always good to be reminded of. I got such a big kick out of that show. Oh, just like I need a massage. I need one badly now. So once Easter is over, every other brother goes back to San Jose, Costa Rica, because they flooded in here. I gotta tell you, I went to the grocery store earlier today because I was out of bread and eggs and milk. I went to Maxi Pali, which is like a down market version of Walmart, owned by Walmart. They were out of everything. They were so far out of eggs, I had to buy my eggs 6 at a time in a little plastic baggie because they didn't have any egg cartons to put them in. And milk and bread they had, thank God, but everything else that we were looking for, cat food, drinks, was kind of very slim pickings, and there was no place to park. We got the last parking lot slot. We thought to snag a cart out in the parking lot because we knew it would be crazy in there, and sure enough, it was so crazy that we split our list. I went one way, he went the other way. It was kind of like, "We'll meet at the registers," and then we went through self-checkout because the lines were the longest I'd ever seen, and all I really needed was milk, bread, and eggs, and some cat food, and just move on from there, breathe in, breathe out, move on. But it's because Easter week, Holy Week, Santa Semana here, Semana Santa. Is it week before, week after? I can't remember. It's Semana Santa or Santa Semana. Is the week that everybody comes from the interior of Costa Rica, which is San Jose and the Central Valley. They come to Tamarindo area and they just flood in. They take every hotel room, every flop house that somebody can rent a room that they put an air mattress in is rented. And you cannot move. The traffic is horrible. There's no place to park. You go in the grocery store, and it's like the Hunger Games. You're fighting to survive. So every year we should just huddle in and don't do anything. But this time we got caught short on milk and bread. I should have got it before the week started. It was interesting. It was interesting to see that and remind myself again why I don't go out then. Worst amount of people I've ever seen here. And that's saying something. Sounds like the new Wegmans across the street. I love Wegmans, don't you? But I'm afraid that I'm not gonna go there much when I'm in the States because that has been crazy. Every time I've gone anywhere near the Wegmans by my daughter's house, it's just too much. And I love Wegmans, so yeah. And it looks like we're going to be making another run at changing our legal status here yet again soon. And humans in public, yep, Iris, Jane, humans in public, especially tourists. That was the horrible thing. Was one of the tourists hordes was American, and there are more Americans here this week too. So you've got a larger group of American tourists. You got everybody from Central Valley and San Jose, and it's nutty. So I'm in line with my grocery cart, and I don't have that many things. I'm eyeing the line clearly marked 10 items or less, and seeing a gringo family push in with cases of beer, a few things for the kids, and a few food items like beer, beer, beer. And I don't get it. Why come to a tropical paradise and just stay completely drunk? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But they were in the 10 items or less late, and they had way more than 10 items. I was giving them the eye of disapproval. My husband was talking to them, of course, because he talks to everybody. I love Wegmans. That parking lot is scary as hell. It's in a garage under the store. Oh, happy I've handicapped for the first parking for the first time. Well, see, that's awesome. I have it now too, and here's the problem. There's no place sometimes. The other day I went to park and there was none, and I saw people with no plates in the handicap spot. And one of them came out and I said, "You were parked in a handicap spot. You didn't have the sticker." And he showed me that he did have the sticker. He just didn't mount it out. But why would you do that? Didn't mount it on the thing. Still wild to me you can buy alcohol in a grocery store or 7-Eleven. Growing up in New Jersey, that did sell alcohol in those stores, only a liquor store. Well, see, that's how it was in Virginia too. You had to go to the Virginia ABC licensing store to license store, the specific alcohol liquor store to buy anything. And yeah, it was weird. Seeing Wegmans and Wawa selling alcohol is wild. Yeah, it was. It is when you're so used to that. And the thing is, I came from Louisiana where you can go through the drive-through at the daiquiri stand, and they are not selling virgin daiquiris. They're selling like white styrofoam containers about the size of this with a lid where they tape it shut, put a little piece of tape on it, and that is their excuse for how they get around the law of selling liquor to go. Takes all kinds. So it was a PA growing up. Montana, drinking at 19, you could buy liquor at the bars. Yep. Only beer and wine in grocery store 7-Eleven here. You must go to the ABC store for hard alcohol. Yeah, very much so. That's and what's funny about Maryland is all the marijuana because it's legal there. The store, I haven't had a chance to go to the store yet and look around, but I'm very tempted to. They have passed medical marijuana laws here finally, but they haven't put them in place. So it's back to scuttling down to the farmer's market and buying magic brownies from the little old lady that bakes them here and sells them. They're illegal as hell, but they've been openly selling them. at the flea market for years here. So, so I'm all ranted out. I just really wanted to rant about them calling Renelle a Nazi. Of the dumbest variety of things that you could ever call anybody, it would be that. Oh my word. Oh my word. Girls, read a history book. Ones of you that are doing that, because you clearly don't know what the heck you're talking about. Super late, I guess. That happens. My cousin has his PhD in botany and something else. He works in the state of Maryland creating new strains of weed. Bossy, now that is awesome. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, Iris, I can. And it's kind of funny because she always tells me, the lady that sells them always says, "Have you experimented with the mouse?" Like, yeah, I know I have to chop the brownie into 16 pieces and take just a little teeny tiny piece when I'm having asthma for it to be effective. I've learned that it actually does work. Thank God that that's one of the doctors in Maryland I was seeing suggested it to try edibles because that is the answer for me in a lot of times when I'm having really bad asthma. Okay, guys, my voice is going. I just wanted to rant. Renelle, we love you, and I hope these people find a life. Get a life, as William Shatner always says. Get a life. Love you guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and go and lay down.